Hey friends, in this video, I'm going to show you how to get the most of your header on your website. If you're using Squarespace and you're trying to figure out where to get the button and the links and the folders and all that stuff, I'm going to walk you through that now, how to get your cart set up, all of that good stuff on your site in this video. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we are on our demo website. I'm going to show you a few things. We do have the logo in place. Technically, this is where the logo would go. This is just text right now, but that's where that would go. And then here are some links with a navigation. And then we have a login button, which I'll show you what that is, a cart. And we could also add in a button, an actual like physical button. So let's do all of that now. First thing to notice is that when you go to pages, the main navigation is here in terms of links. And so if you do want to set up any type of folders or links, you'll need to do it here. What I recommend is you could have pages here, but what you could do is you could also click the plus sign, scroll down here, and add in drop down and link. So drop down is the folder, and then a link obviously is a link. You could link to anything. You could link to a specific category in your shop, category in your blog. You could link to a specific product. You can link to a specific page. You could link to anything, a specific anchor point on your page. There's a lot of great options with links. I love using links for that purpose, but you have drop downs and links. As you can see here, this is a drop down, as you can see from the icon, and then down here are 3 pages, and here is actually another link that links to a specific category. So if we go in here and we click on category 2, it'll take us to the shop. And specifically here, it's taking us to category 2. And you can see here, if I go into shop and let's just click on one of these products and let me tag this with a category. So organization, categories, plus sign. I'm going to hit category 2, done, save. You'll now see that product show up on that page. So if I go to categories here, you'll see this now shows up here. And so you can link directly to that. I have other videos that walk you through of how to set up those links. I'll give you a quick overview right now, but you can see it's set up this way, shop/category 2. If I get rid of that as well, it actually gives me options for all of them. So just type in /, start typing in whatever you need. You could do shop. And then if you do another / and then type in whatever the category name is, it will work. So you just got to play with it a little bit, make sure you spell it right, do all that stuff, but you can get that all set up. From there, let's take a look here. So you could reorganize this how you want. So if I want the about to go up here, I just click and drag. And as you can see now, it automatically live updates it, which is great. So let's go to edit site header, and then do edit design. Now this is the first thing to pay attention to. Here, you can make some adjustments to the layout. What I recommend is with layout options, you got a few. There are a few things here that I don't think are ideal. You might need some custom code with it, but generally this layout here, logo on the left, menu and all the other options on the right, 90% of sites, it works great for. The next step would be when you have the links center. The only challenge here is if you have even like one more link, it sometimes falls on 2 lines. Best practices, your navigation should never fall on 2 lines unless it's a very intentional design practice, which honestly, I've only seen it done once well. So your menu should just fall on 1 line. So you may need some custom code if you do end up doing that. But from there, you also have some other options where you could put the logo center, options on the left and right. That looks cool as well. This works as well. I just would say there's a lot of dead space. So you end up losing a lot of screen real estate kind of for no reason. So you could play with it and adjust like element spacing and get a little bit closer, which could work. But I think there's just a lot of dead space on this one that you do want to pay attention to. But let's go back to our main one here, and then we will adjust this back up. So I'm going to do 1.6 here, and I'm going to change this down to 0.8. Perfect. So there's kind of like a double the amount of space between each core element. All right, now that is set up. You could do fixed position. You could add effects. Borders, obviously, if you're going for a heavy design, you could do this, but like this looks really nice if you do like a light gray when you're like scrolling through and you have it set to fixed position. Let me show you what that looks like. Right now, the background is gray. So let's just do this. Yeah, I don't know if it looks great here. It kind of changes the style, so you got to pay attention to that. and it's gray here. So actually that probably doesn't look best. But in some cases, if it's all white on white, it looks really nice to have just a clean little line there overall on the page. All right, let's go back into the editor, edit design. All right, so we played with border a little bit. Fixed position, I love basic. Scroll back works, but I really love basic. And then here you could adjust the height. I would suggest going thinner. Generally, around here is good. Any additional space above and below just starts to waste screen real estate. And you want people seeing your website, not your logo. They'll see your logo no matter what. It's on every single page of your website. In this case, I'll go 1.4. I think that's good here. Finally, with full and inset, you won't necessarily notice a difference here, but if you were on a very large screen, you would. So the current max width of this page is 1400 pixels or so, 1440. And so if you do inset, that will align with all your content. So if you end up having, say, words on the edge of your screen here, so if I drag this up and then I go like this and move this here, this is going to stay lined up even when you get into smaller sizes like this. Now I'm obviously just zooming out, so it kind of looks a little funny, but if I do edit site header and I go back here and I do full, you'll see how it stretches out across the page, which in this case is honestly not ideal. In most cases, I think it looks better this way where it lines up with the content. Now, let's say you want to adjust, let me get this back to normal. Let's say you want to adjust the actual width of your entire page. Just a quick note, you go into site styles here, go to the bottom miscellaneous, and then go to spacing, page width. Yeah, we're at 1400. So that's 1440. So if I do 1000, you'll see it's a little bit tighter there overall, but 1440 pixels is great. And I actually prefer 3 vertical width instead of 4. So we'll get that set up and then go back into our edit experience. I'll get rid of this and then we'll hit save really quick and then get back into editing the look and feel here. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of this line at the bottom. The border, don't really need it. Again, it looks really good on like a white on white website that you design. All right, next let's talk about color. Now, color gives you a few options. Adaptive means it will adapt to whatever color you have set for this section here. Some ways that's good, in some ways it's not. If you have a logo set up, it may look good on some pages, it may not look good on other pages, and you can't replace the logo for some pages. You could do it with custom code, and I've done it before for clients, but there's no native way to solve that. And so adaptive could be good, but could be complex. Gradient is nice if you want that look. Solid is usually what I go for, and then what I'll end up doing is a theme, picking out whatever style I like for it. Again, I might use white, little border there, looks really nice. In this specific style, it's nice to have it as adaptive, but just pay attention to that as you're building. In this case, I'm gonna set it back to adaptive just because I think it works for what we're doing, and we're good to go there on design. Now, as you can see, if I scroll over elements, you'll see that you have the ability to edit them. You also have the ability to click add elements, and this kind of breaks down all core elements here. So if we want to add a button, we could do that. If we want to add social links, and then if we want to add a language switcher, which would take us to the plugin here that you would have to set up and do all that, but we'll leave that for now. And so here you could see all the options. Now, we've already talked about the navigation, so let's just quickly go over the logo and go from there. I'll click here on the pencil. You'll always want to have a site title. I don't think you could have a site up without a site title. And then you'll upload your logo here. So for example, if I were to upload a logo, I actually don't even have logos here. It's a new computer. But if you were to upload a logo here, you could also do one for mobile if you need a different one. If not, you'll just use the main one for both. From there, once you have a logo uploaded, it'll allow you to change the sizing. This is going to be really random. I'm just going to select something here. This is like an image. But as you can see, you could adjust the sizing. And then if you want to, you can go to mobile and then you'll do the same. Edit design. Let's go back here, click on it, edit. And then here you could adjust the size and see what it actually looks like. It doesn't prompt you to do this. So you could be changing the size and not see anything. So if I go in here and click edit, you could click here and just do this and it does nothing. And you're like, oh, it's not working. It's working. You just can't see it. So just be mindful of that. But that's how you change the size of both of those. I'm going to get rid of that because that is not a logo. And so we'll leave it like that and go from there. All right, so now we've covered 2 core elements. Let's cover a few more. Now, login is really useful if you have subscriptions, if you have people buying from your store again and again. If you are just starting out, honestly, I don't know. If you expect a lot of people to be buying from your website, this is great. But it gets a little confusing. Like, I have some good friends who have a barber shop and they use Acuity scheduling, which allows you to create an account as well. So it's a little confusing because a login is specifically for like their merch, but it doesn't work for their scheduler, which is why 90% of people go to the website. So just be mindful of that the login could be a little confusing depending on what kind of business you're doing. And so here, this is if you have people who are going to have login accounts, specifically subscriptions. That's the most useful then. Here are your social links, and you could go in here and click edit. You could add more social links. You could reorganize them. You could switch them out. You can get rid of them. All you got to do is add social link, and then you literally just paste it. So whatever it is, Instagram.com/ my name is hello David, boom, and it just adds it in like that. Again, you could delete an old one or a different one, whatever, and then you could design it from there. Now, one thing I see here that I think is terrible, I see this a lot on websites, is people will do solid, and this just draws too much attention. I think like I get what you're going for here, but you just need to change this to a color that's much more muted because now it's competing with the button and it's even competing with the logo, which we just don't want. In this case too, I'd probably change this logo from this to white versus the yellow. The yellow is really loud. Also, the size is worth paying attention to, like what you want to do here. In this case, I think this is probably the best and we're good to go there. From there, we can go into cart and then we can make some changes as well. Here, you could add in an actual cart versus the text, which I actually recommend as well. So you could do this. There's a bunch of different options, which is really cool. Makes it really user-friendly and nice. This is one of my favorite cards. This is nice as well. And I think this is really cool. So you could pick one of these. You could adjust the size as you like. And then again, they have these like options for like borders and stuff. Simpler is always better. If you want it to show the 0, you can. Don't necessarily recommend it, but you're good to go. From there, you have the button. So again, you could click on this, click edit. Here, you could change the text, call today. And then here, you could change the link. So you could change this to whatever you want. If you want an email, if you want to go to an email, if you want to go to a phone number, whatever you want, click URL. You could put a file, email, phone. Probably wouldn't recommend a file, but you could do whatever you want. So you could say book call if that's your URL for the page. Whatever pages you have built on the site will show up here. And you could just type a / as well and then be able to add any of those pages as well. If you want to do a phone number, you can just click here and then do phone and then you just type in the number. Boom, just like that. It even has a text option, which is kind of cool, actually. I didn't know you could do that, which is really awesome, actually. So yeah, you could have that and then you could have this text be, this could be text us today, which is awesome. That's a really interesting business model. That could work. And then you could adjust the button styling here a little bit. And if you need to change the colors, you would go into the site styles to actually do that, which we'll do that in a sec. But now you have adjusted everything on your website from beginning to end on your navigation and your entire experience, which is awesome. One thing I do recommend paying attention to is if you do move the navigation anywhere else on the page, the one thing here is that the navigation, in my opinion, looks a little hideous. The reason is it's right justified. And in terms of text like this should always be left justified. So I use this little bit of code that I have, I think somewhere online, or if I don't have it, I'll add it somewhere that you could access it or purchase it for like a few bucks, where basically you could align it left. It's such a nice experience. It's so much better than having it aligned to the right. It's just not intuitive. I understand code-wise why it's like that, but in terms of actual design, this is a terrible design. It's a dead giveaway to me if it's a Squarespace website, if it hasn't a folder like this and everything's justified to the right. I built this a few years ago and yeah, they're over to the left, but that's how it should look. Like the team, it should look something like this, not the other way. I think it gets a little funky when it's the other way like that. So now you have your whole navigation. Again, you could add as many links as you want here. Let me put this here and then just put this here just so you see it. Again, you don't want it to fall on 2 lines. It starts to get really funny when it does fall on 2 lines. Let me drag that out. This is just a bad user experience. So you want to do your best on a normal desktop that it falls on 1 line. Now, if you want to change the button color, let's do that now. If you want to change any of the colors, I'll show you how to do that. All right, so we'll go in here, and then we're just gonna assume that this is set to, you could do this either way, but I'm just gonna go solid, and then I'm gonna go theme, lightest one, boom. I'm gonna go there. So let's imagine it's like that. I'll go to colors. Again, you could do this for any styles. And then from here, this is light 2. So you could click right here, or you can go down here and click the edit. So I'll click there, boom. And then now we're gonna start working out some of these. So header, site title, navigation. So if I click here and change this, you'll see the navigation just changed. So that's what you want to pay attention to. Here, I actually don't want it to be this like off black. I actually want it to be full black. So I could do that. Same thing here. I could do the full black as well. Then when it comes to the button, it is connected to your actual buttons for the website. So if I go down here, primary button, I'm guessing it's this one. Yeah. So you would have to change this here, which could affect the rest of your website. In this case, I'd probably keep it like this because this does seem more intuitive versus the design we had before. Let me go back to that just so you see it. Edit design, colors, adaptive, perfect. And then we'll go into the editor. Again, we'll go in here. And then this one is set to dark 1. So we'll go to dark 1 and then site title, navigation links. Again, if we wanted to change that, this is where we could do it. And then from there, if I scroll down here to the buttons, text link on background, buttons, primary, here we go. So this would either go to white, which I think feels a lot nicer. Black is a little too dark on the gray, so I would probably go to white. The text color is already black, so we're good to go. I could hover just to make sure that works. And then take a look at other elements. I'm just gonna click here, so you'll see the menu overlay. So the background is the same color as the current background. So I might go there. Sometimes it does this, where you actually did make a change, but it's not showing up. Menu overlay background. If you want to change the background of this section, you're changing the background of the entire page or that section. So dark 1, if I want to change the background here, I would change this here. So this would go to a different color, and then we would go from there. So if I want that to be darker, I would do something like that. Then from there, if you want to change font sizes, this is probably the last thing we'll cover, is if you want to change font sizes, what you'll do is you'll go to site styles here, you'll click here, and then you'll go to assign styles, and then you'll see header right here. So header button, site navigation, mobile site title, and then site title. So in this case, I want the site title to actually be thicker, 600. I'm going to go to 900, or let's just do 8, and then I'm going to do transform uppercase. Boom. Just for now, let's just say that's what I want, and now I want this to be a little bit bigger. Okay, great. Cool. Leave it like that. Don't necessarily say I love that, but just want to show you how to do that. All right, now let's go to site navigation here. So this is paragraph font. It's taking paragraph 2. In my opinion, that's a little bit big. I might go there, and the button is like way too big. So I think this is nicer actually. If I do want to make adjustments here, like I may want to make this all caps. So what I do is I'll do custom. I'll choose the style I want. So if I want it heading, font, I'll do that, or if I'll do that, whichever one. Let's just say I want that, then I'll switch it to custom, and then I'll go to text transform and then go uppercase. It's gonna feel nicer. Yeah, that's already great. So I can maybe play with the text a little bit more. This is at 0.9, 0.8 might be a little too small, so I'll just keep it. Yeah, I'll keep it there. I think that's actually nicer. The button is huge, that's why it feels really off, but let's go in here. Final thing we'll touch on right here is this is set to pop-ins. This is all good. The size is 1. I'm gonna go to 0.9. So I think that 0.8 matches up with this font. So I want those to match up. And then the final thing I'll do is I'll go to actual buttons. And in this case, for this button here, I want to adjust the spacing, which this does affect the other buttons. So it's a little bit odd. Maybe you could set this to like your third style of button, so that can work a little bit better. But right now the spacing is pretty thick. Let's see, this is top and bottom is 1.2. Yeah, you could see just like that, changing it shifts it a lot. That's a lot. Okay, wait. So 1.2, 0.8, that's nicer. Maybe I'll do 1.5. There we go. That already feels a lot nicer. Now there's a lot of elements here. So it kind of extends it out, but already this navigation looks much better with just a few design tweaks and changes. I'll hit save, and then I'll clean this up as well. If I actually was publishing this, that wouldn't be there. Maybe I'll have shop, I would have about, so that would feel more full. And ideally in this case, I'd probably just remove this. So it looks something more like this. People can still shop, text us today. They got everything they need. It's a great experience. From there, you could go to mobile as well, take a look at some things. Right now, this font size is too small. Again, I go back in here, font sizes, assign styles, mobile site navigation, set to paragraph 2, may set that to paragraph 1. And there are some changes here that I need to make that match with the other styling that I have. So here we're at heading, go to custom, uppercase, boom. And then this was, we set this to 800, boom. Yeah, that's great. And I'm gonna change this actually. So this is 1.4, I'll go to 1.8. That's great, cool. And now I have everything I need. The menu is there, you see everything there as well, which is really nice. It's all working, it's all dialed. If you want more help like this, I have a ton of tutorials and I have digital products that you could purchase, and I just slashed all the prices of my digital products, so definitely check that out. They're super affordable and they're videos that are not public that will help you learn this more and get more advanced tutorials step by step on how to make your site beautiful and set it up on Squarespace. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.